$8.3 million, Mr. Moore would get the $8.3 million. That in theory is supposed to happen. For trucking contracts, which by the way is the field in which the most number of black and brown employees work. We know this across the nation and certainly in Baltimore. For trucking contracts, what they ask for is just a general number. So we pledge to you 4% of the work, which is $500,000. They don't break down the rate. And so once they have gotten the contract, they turn around and go to the subcontractor, the hauler, the trucker, and they say, you know what, our rate just went up. Our rate is not $100 an hour, our rate is $30 an hour that we're gonna pay you. So if you can't do it for $30, we don't know what to tell you, but of course they do. And so even though they committed to do $500,000 worth of work, they're getting a lot more and they're padding their own profits. That's one way of hurting a subcontractor. We've heard examples like that. And the city of Baltimore is supposed to be scrutinizing that and looking at that and holding in good faith the prime. The second example that we have heard is primes that apply for city and state contracts. The Port Authority contract is an example that you've heard, where they are told you don't have the breadth of experience needed, even though you submitted the lowest bid. So your example, the one example that we were talking about, that was the lowest bid. That was the cheapest contract. And he got a polite letter back that said, you don't have the relevant experience. Turns out it wasn't the relevant experience, but that's another way of doing it. And we've heard multiple examples of primes that are told they don't have the breadth of experience, even though they were the lowest bid. And then the third strategy that these primes appear to use is to pledge the contract and then deliver a fraction of it or none of it at all, knowing that they're not going to get called on it.
Sorry,
No.
it's my understanding that the Metro contract in question has been withdrawn by DPW and will not be on the agenda this week. Do you have any response to that news?
That is an encouraging development. And that's great. It shouldn't take 3 press conferences to make that happen, but I'm glad someone's paying attention. And frankly, that result only vindicates that we're not shouting into the wind.